Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Progressive Vibe. I am your host, Dottie. Today is August 15th, 2021. And this is the new season. This is season 5, episode 1. It's so good to be back, guys. We took a couple of weeks off, as you guys know, to get a little break in. But we're back in the flesh, and I am just excited to get back into doing these podcasts every week that we've been doing. It's been a hell of a ride, and I can't wait to complete another season with you guys. But before we get into a little bit of detail, we are going to give the title of this episode. And the title of this episode is Karen's What If? So if you guys are a Marvel fan, I'm a Marvel fan, and if you're a Marvel fan like I am, it is this new What If series has came out on, I think, the Disney Plus channel. But it's just based on Marvel Comics, and pretty much what it is the series explores alternate timelines in the multiverse that show what would happen if major moments from the Marvel films occurred differently. So we're going to twist it up a little bit and have this to be a Karen's What If. What if Karen's actually made people's lives better instead of worse in some regards? And we're going to get into why we are talking about Karen's in this particular episode, mainly because I wanted to start the season off, guys, on a light note. We're going to, as the season progresses, obviously we're going to get into a bunch of politics and a bunch of different policies and legislation and, the current events, what's going on in the Biden presidency, what's going on with the progressives, what's going on with the the Democrats, the conservatives, the state of which are we going to get this reconciliation bill passed? Are we going to get these voting rights measures passed that needs to be passed before midterms next year? And it just seems like we're already in August, and these things that were in high importance in the Democrats' eyes, I can't speak for the Republicans, because again, I'm a progressive, so I keep up with progressive politics. And so this stalemate that's been going on within the Democratic Party, it's I don't think it's going to end well. But again, this year's not over, but it's a very, very slim window of getting these important measures passed, because you just can't sit down and twiddle your thumbs and just hope these things will pass. No, you have to do the thing that you were elected to do. You hold power in the House, the Senate, and in the presidency, and it's just this lackadaisical approach that the moderate Democrats are doing that, to me, are playing in the Republicans' hand. And I mean, the Republicans don't want to do anything anyway. And they're being assisted by the moderate Democrats because they don't want to they don't want to come to a realization that the progressive wing of the Democratic Party is the future of the party, and it's showing now because the country, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, the proposals and policy proposals that the progressives have laid out have brought to a bunch of Americans' attention. They're vastly popular with majority of the country, no matter what aisle you sit on when it comes to party affiliation. But we're going to get into all that, guys. But today's episode, we are going to get into Karens and the types of people you run into at least 2 times out of the week if you're going, to a restaurant, or if you're going to a mall, or if you're going to a grocery store. You're likely to run into a Karen, and it's just not a woman. It could be a male Karen. I mean, they're typically called Chads and Kens, but I just call them male Karens. But yeah, guys, we're gonna get into that. So that should be fun. I'm not even gonna spend too much time on it. It's just been grinding my gears, and it's recently happened to me. So I just feel like I should talk about it, because I feel like everybody has encountered a Karen, whether you're a black person, white person, Asian, Latino. I just feel like Karens don't discriminate when it comes to entitlement. So we're going to talk about that, guys. So that's going to be fun. But before we get into that, I do want to say to the listeners of the podcast, I want to say thank you for liking, sharing, and donating to the show. However you show your love to the show, it is greatly appreciated. We have some monthly subscribers now of the show, so that's super, super awesome. That was a goal of mine, to start having some subscribers, and we have a few. And so I want to personally say thank you to the subscribers of the show, because you give monthly donations to the show, and it helps sustain future episodes, and it gives more credence to the show, and I just appreciate all of that. As you guys know, sharing the podcast on social media is the most effective way to get the message out, our message out, and it's all totally free. The Progressive Vibe is available on all platforms you can listen and get your podcasts. And by the way, the Progressive Vibe is also now on Podchaser. If you guys didn't know what Podchaser is, Podchaser is a platform that empowers podcast discovery for listeners, podcasters, and everyone else. If you want to listen more about Podchaser, or if you want to learn more about Podchaser, which you can also listen, but if you want to learn more about Podchasers, you can go to podchaser.com to learn more about that. That's if you like to listen to podcasts. That's if you have a podcast of yourself, and that's a great opportunity to get set up on that platform, to make sure you have your podcast on that platform. And you can also follow them on Twitter. Their Twitter is @Podchaser. So again, to learn more about Podchaser, go to podchaser.com. And last but not least, before we start today's main show, guys, I wanted to let you guys know if you have anything that you want me to discuss on the show. You can follow me on Twitter at Dottie_vibe. That's DODI_VIBE. And you can use the hashtag TPVibe, TPVIBE. Or you can send me a contact message from the contact form on the show's website. I will give you guys the website information before we end the intro segment. So just hang tight. But also, if you want to stay in touch with the show, you can enter your email address in the Stay in Touch box on the show's website to get every new episode delivered straight to your inbox. The website to the show is The Progressive Vibe 184-970-366.wordpress.com. And also, if you want to help us make the show and sustain future episodes, as I said earlier, become a monthly supporter on the show's website. Again, the show's website is The Progressive Vibe 184-970-366.wordpress.com. Or if you don't want to do all that, guys, you can make a contribution of your liking to the show's Cash App. The show's Cash App tag is Dottie D92. That's DAHDEE92. And that's to make a one-time contribution if you like, guys. Again, but however you show love to the show, whether that's liking, sharing, or donating, it is greatly appreciated. And last but not least, we have two sponsors of the podcast. First one is by WordPress.com. If you want to turn your podcast into a blog to grow your audience, go to WordPress.com to learn more about that. And also, this podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. So if you have a podcast or you've been thinking about making a podcast, to learn more about making your own podcast, go to anchor.fm.com to learn more to get started on that. Let's get into this show, shall we? We will see you after this, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the main show. So here's the subject talk we're going to get into today. As I said in the intro, Karens, what if? What if we had the Karens of the world actually play I was going to say pivotal role in society, but they already do. It's just not for the better. It's for the worst. But what if Karens actually brought more awareness in the good way when it comes to a whole host of things? Wearing masks inside of a grocery store. We know that Karens and male Karens, they have a really, really big problem of not only wearing masks inside of a grocery store, for example, because they feel like the government's telling them what to do, or they feel like their freedom, liberties are being violated. But all it is simply covering your face with a surgical mask or a cloth mask to help prevent the spread of a very contagious virus. But it always had to get politicized. You know, we always have to politicize everything. But again, what if these Karens were more on the side of just making a situation easier than always the other way around? And it doesn't even have to do with masks. It can do with I've seen so many videos on TYT, for example, where they have these segments of these different types of situations of involving Karens and male Karens, and it's obviously a good thing to put the spotlight to shine, a light on these things, but also it's just so sad. It's just so sad to see these folks that remind you they always seem to, once their backs are against the wall, they always want to um start with the whole racial slurring. Like um when usually a Karen does something, they do it in spite of. And so yeah, this is a technology driven society that we live in now, where everybody has access to a cell phone. And if you're being ignorant, if you're being um obnoxious, if you're being racist, if you're being bigoted, or you know if you're doing all of this stuff, if you're homophobic, then usually, yeah, a young kid or somebody's going to pull out a phone on you and start recording you, because usually when Karens get started, or male Karens get started, it doesn't, again, it never ends well. And the police usually gets called, and usually stories get shared to the police on what happened and things like that. Well, you know, Karens have Karens have a tendency of telling lies. And again, I want to just say, when I'm talking about Karens, I mean a certain persona. I don't mean if your name's Karen, then you have to be this wicked witch from the West. You know what I mean? It's nothing like that. I mean, because if your name's Karen and you're a perfectly awesome, decent human being, then that's awesome. You know what I mean? That's what I wish that a Karen would be like, mostly. But again, this is what we want. What if? This is why the title is named "What If," because if we had Karens and male Karens of the world actually stand up to racism, stand up to um bigots, and stand up to um all of these other things that they always seem to get offended about, then I feel like we would have a better society in some regards. But usually when we're talking about Karens, we're talking about, oh, this is, they're probably mean, they're probably loud, they're probably ignorant, they're probably racist, they're probably, you know, bigoted. They probably have these aspects of them. And I'm not just saying this just to be saying it. I mean, you can pull up tons of videos of these people who've been labeled Karens because of these things that I just said. And I think it's really, really important to shine a spotlight and put these people on blast, and show, you know, usually when you kind of see how ignorant you can be on camera, like if you can just see yourself, you're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I should have done it this way, or man, all these people are witnessing me be this person who I'm actually not. If you can look, if you're a Karen and you can look at some kind of self-reflection on you watching yourself be as you're being on film, and has that changed your perspective, or that changed how you go about doing or saying stuff to certain people who you don't particularly like or see yourself being around, then that's awesome. But nowadays I feel like people are doing it just for like the recognition of it. Like they know when, usually when somebody acts ignorant and says a whole bunch of racist crap and stuff like that, then it's gonna probably get a lot of views. It's gonna probably get a lot of clicks. Um, you know, and that's not saying that the reason that people are viewing it because they just want to see people saying racist stuff or mean stuff to people. But we live in a technology driven society, as I said before, and people are viewing this stuff. People are always online, always on social media, and these things happen honestly way too often. Like you can find a new video every single day of someone being completely oblivious, completely ignorant to the situation around them because they solely think that the world evolves around them and it does not. And the more as society progresses, the more as the years go on, um you know it's not going to evolve around a certain type of dominant demographic. The demographics are slowly changing, but they're changing, and it's a mixed population. It's just not a one size fits all type of ordeal. And I think a lot of people who act out in public like that, um I think they kind of feel fear of some of those things. I think they fear that the world is changing too rapidly around them, and they're not used to it. Especially maybe seeing a lot more brown people when you go to the store, whatever store you go to, or whatever restaurant you decide to go to. These things can play a factor, and I just feel like it was important to highlight, you know, the Karens of the world, because we as people have to do better in not being so selfish. I mean, I definitely have selfish tendencies. I'm not Karen selfish now, but I do have selfish tendencies, and I try to, work on that every day because every day is a new day. You have a, fortunately, we're blessed to be on, this face of the earth, and every day's a new day, and every day that you wake up, that to me, in my eyes, um, that's a blessing because every day's not promised, and you can be here one day and be out of here the next. And I just feel like we have an obligation to our future generations, our future kids, grandkids, to um, be compassionate people, be empathetic, um, be less judgmental, be more accepting, because everybody's not the same. Everybody doesn't look alike. Everybody doesn't do the same things when it comes to hobbies or what they do with their families or anything like that. But live. Um, we are all, you know, United States citizens. We live in the United States. We are all U.S. Americans, no matter what's your gender or what's your sex or what's your religion or what's your race, ethnicity, or whatever the case may be. We all have an obligation to play that that's it's not simple because it's a very hard thing to accomplish, but I think we have that obligation to better the world and, better, not just ourselves, but better and help better people around us. I think that's not too much to ask for. But again, I'm just gonna leave it at this. Well, a couple more things. I not gonna disclose the place that I work at, but I do work at a grocery store, and I'm a cashier, and I run into a bunch of people, every single day, and I encounter um, different aspects of all people, white, black, Asian, Latino, gay, straight, or whatever, you know what I mean? And so um, I've definitely encountered Karens in the grocery store that I work at, and it's recently happened. And I know if you know my listeners who listen to this podcast, I know if you have a public job, I know that you've encountered the same thing. And if you haven't, then you're one of the lucky ones, one of the fortunate ones. But it actually, opened my eyes and was like, when that happened to me, I was like, you know what? Instead of making a scene, instead of doing this, doing that, I'm just gonna make a podcast about it. I'm just gonna make an episode about it and dedicate it towards my show, because I think it is in some regards political. It does tie into politics, and I think it is necessary to share this with the audience, because um, it's frustrating. It's frustrating that people can't just go on their jobs and do their jobs, and without people trying to make them feel like shit. I'm gonna just keep it real. Um, and I don't complain. I just keep it moving. My folks brought me up to be, a hard worker, and keep your head down and work, and be respectful, be mannerable, and which I am. And again, shout out to my family for instilling those qualities. um but sometimes you have your limits, and that's okay. But I just wanted to again address this because it was on my mind, and it's been the talk of the town, for real. If you go online, it's a real, like, people are really, really talking about Karens, and how that, there's like a shark lurking in the water. You're just trying to have a good time in the water, but you know this shark comes through and takes all that joy. And I hated to put it so you know so vulgar, but that's kind of how it is. And I want to share this one little story real quick with you guys before we get going into the social media break. I was watching TYT, and they had this segment going about how this Karen in Augusta County, Virginia, uh, knocked this man's camera out of his hand, and the man got arrested for assault. So, to provide a little bit of context to what I'm talking about, it was these Blue Lives Matter people or protesters at this stop sign. So every car that was stopping at this stop sign, they would see the flags, they would see the signs, and these people were protesting about whatever they were protesting about. And these individuals, these black men, got out the car, and one of them had the camera, and another guy got out and expressed his, freedom of speech. He was exercising his freedom to assemble. he was exercising his freedom of press, which the Blue Lives Matter protesters were doing. I mean, this is the United States. You have the freedom to do the things as I just stated. So that's what he was doing. And some words were said, and the lady, the white lady, I think her name was Brittany something. Her first name was, I think it was Brittany Harris. Um, I could be wrong on the last name, but I know her first name was Brittany. But she went to proceed to knock the camera out of the guy who was filming's hand. And, the police were called and things like that. And the guy, the cameraman, showed the footage to the police officers. And yeah, he got arrested for assault. So, the female from the Blue Lives Matter protest um put her hands on the cameraman, and the cameraman went to jail for what the lady should have went to jail for. And so all I know is the lady, the police officers escorted her to the side for her safety, apparently. And yeah, she didn't get arrested or anything like that. So I don't know if it was, I mean, I kind of do know. I mean, it kind of tells it all. I mean, if they're holding Blue Lives Matter flags and stuff like that, apparently that's supposed to be a symbol of police support. But to me, it means a whole host of stuff. It doesn't just mean, we support the police. But a little conflict of interest seemed like it played a part in it. And for some reason, the black guy who was holding the camera went to jail. But he later released a video that he got released and things like that. But it just goes to show you how the criminal justice system curtails itself around, Karens like this. In my eyes, they've benefited from a criminal justice system that will believe them over anyone else. And so that's why you see so many individuals who are victims of these certain incidents, to these Karens, simply don't want to argue or defend themselves or even get the police involved, because typically Karens usually get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that type of thing. And I'm glad that TYT specifically highlights these things and puts it in the spotlight, because we have to show this to um, we have to show this to everyone. We have to show this to many eyes as possible, because it's not right, and it reflects on how bad or how big of a disgrace Augusta County's police um, department is. It just is. That guy should have never got arrested. Um, and it's just wild that we see the inequality when it comes to the criminal justice system, as well as it comes to a lot of other things that play a part in people's everyday lives, how it doesn't suit everyone. And we have to continue working on that, and making it a better system for everyone. Because if you're wrong, if you're in the wrong, it shouldn't matter who you proclaim that you support, or what color you are, what color your skin is, or anything like that. It should just be right versus wrong. Okay, guys. So that was my rant on a Karen's what if. So what if we have Karens to actually be more mindful of their surroundings than vice versa? I do think we will have a better society. That's just my opinion. But I think a lot of people would probably agree with that statement as well. But when we come back, guys, we will have the social media break. And after that, we will close the show. So stick around and we will be right back. Hey guys, welcome to the social media break of the show. I hope you do enjoy. Before I read some tweets, I do want to comment on a little bit more of the Karens out there. Also, with the whole mask thing, I want to say, if a certain business that you are going in and they have a mask mandate that is applied to their business, you can't go inside of that place of business and start harassing people who have masks on. You can't say that well, it's been medically clear that I can't breathe in mask, or it's been, or I don't want to put it on because it's violating my individual freedoms. And if I want to come in your place of business to buy things out of your business, then I don't have to wear a mask if I don't want one. You can't do that. And I appreciate these businesses who do enforce these mask mandates. See, this is the thing. Either you do enforce it or you don't enforce it. And the stores that do enforce it, you can't go in their place of business and say, I'm not going to do this because I just don't want to do it. And so if you're going to have that same energy with no shoes, no shirt, no service, then if they're requiring you to wear a mask in their place of business, then you have to do that if you're going to buy merchandise or whatever the case may be in that establishment. And if you don't want to do that, then go somewhere else. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You can't, and it's usually male Karens when I'm talking about the whole being so upset that they have to put a mask on their face. It's just killing them, man, to where they gotta act out, be belligerent, be rude, be ignorant, be hostile, because that establishment is asking you to care about other people. And you don't want to do that. Well, that's fine, but you got to go somewhere else. So I fully support businesses who enforce that as a mandate in their business, because it's their business. It's a private company. It's a private business. They got the right to mandate whatever they feel necessary. Just like you got to come in there with shoes. You got to come in there with a shirt. Or you don't get provided that service. But I just feel like I had to say that on the back end, guys. I had to, because that was just eating away at me. But I'm gonna read you guys some of these tweets. First one is from Congresswoman Cori Bush. She says whether it's Afghanistan, Haiti, or Lebanon, or communities facing extreme hardship worldwide, one thing we could do to save lives right now is become a country that welcomes more refugees with open arms. Refugees must be welcome here. I echo her sentiments, and I just wish we had more compassionate and courageous people in Congress, that would actually live up to these morals. But unfortunately, we don't. But the ones that do, like Congresswoman Cori Bush, nothing but respect. Nothing but respect. Killer Mike says on Twitter, he screenshotted a USA Today article that read, "As George Floyd acts, chances dim, Biden stays mum on police reform." And he asked, "How are y'all feeling about this?" Nina Turner commented below and said, "Not good." I agree. It's not good because it has the chances of the George Floyd act. It has dimmed, and the reason that I think it has dimmed is because, again, as the article states, Biden, when it comes to police reform, he hasn't said anything about it. So if he hasn't said anything about police reform, why would he say anything about the George Floyd Act that's curtailed around police reform? Laker David said on Twitter, "We spent 20 years, billions of dollars, and thousands of lives to fight terrorists," in quotation marks, only to have the Taliban leader as the new Afghanistan president. Hardcore facts, man. I got a comment on that. Yeah, but that's just obviously, as I'm just tweeting this at him, that's just hardcore facts. And last one, guys, this is from Robert Reich. Socialism, this is quoted by Harry Tubman. Socialism is a scare word Socialism is a scare word they have hurled at every advance the people have made in the last 20 years. Socialism is what they called social security. Socialism is their name for almost anything that helps all the people. I think it's fair to leave it there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this social media break. When we come back, we will close the show. We will see you on the other side. Hey guys, that's gonna do it for today's show. First episode of season 5 in the books. Had a blast. It was very, very fun. It was very fun doing the whole Karen talk. But we will be back next Sunday to have you guys a brand new episode of The Progressive Vibe. I want to reiterate a little of what I said from the intro. I want to thank the listeners of this podcast for liking, sharing, and donating to the show, guys. You guys just been so supportive, and it's just been awesome to see. It's been awesome on the feedback that I've been getting from the show. And I had a couple of listeners were asking me, was I doing a new season? And hopefully you got your answer. Yes, we're going to continue with this journey of progressive politics, guys, or progressive talk around politics. because the conversation, the movement is important, and organizing and keeping up to date with the news feeds, and keeping up with the election cycles and the voting process. All these things are very, very important to democracy, how we want democracy to function. And I just want to say I wouldn't want to do it with any other listeners but you guys. And we've grown our base to about 40 people, if I'm not mistaken. It was around like 29 or 30 or something like that. So it's at 40 now. So that's so awesome. We have some international love as well. Thank you to all the international listeners who take the time out and listen to this podcast. And last but not least, I want to say, if you want to discuss or have me to discuss anything from the show, if you want to stay in touch with the show, if you want to help us make the show and sustain future episodes, you can do all of this at The Progressive Vibe, 184-970-366.wordpress.com. Again, guys, this podcast is sponsored by wordpress.com, and it is also sponsored by anchor.fm. Easiest way to make a podcast, guys. On that note, we will see you next Sunday, same time. Until then, stay positive, stay progressive, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.